I said and wrote enough about it, and it got me in trouble with all sides, you know. Because, you know...
In Frankfurt?
In Frankfurt. First, why I do, in contrast to many leftists, you can then attack me if you want, why I do unconditionally condemn... Is this a question or... no, sorry,
no,
just here there.
It's just a strange semiotics.
Why I do unconditionally condemn Hamas is that, you know, this may be a surprising detail for you, but I don't know directly people who were massacred there in the south in that kibbutz rave party, but I know people who knew them. You know that this was the most open part of the Israelis. They were in constant contact with Gaza, helping them. So the message, to put it like this, of the Hamas attack was not simply kill Israelis, but was a war whose aim was to eternalize war, to kill the very thought, the very possibility of long-term peace. And especially another moment here. Do you remember what went on in Israel a couple of months ago? This tremendous social movement, yes, for a secular Israeli state against religious fundamentalists and so on. Now, not quite. There are already signs of resistance, but that is over. So this brought the wrath of some Zionists on me, because I never said they are all the same. What I simply said is this. Hamas is a horrible thing. And their guy, Haniyeh, said something horrible at the beginning of this war, or first, second day. He said, my message to Jews is, all that land is ours, F 3 points off. Go out, no place for you. But then, you know, you have statements from this ongoing Israeli government, which in a slightly more polite way is saying a similar thing. It's not the same. It says Israel is exclusively the state of the Jews. We have all that land is ours, and so on and so on. What I am afraid is that on both sides, this logic will prevail. So I am not, and my true horror here, and I'm afraid that Jews will pay the price, is, for example, I always mention this, just Google him. How can a country like Israel have a minister for social security, whatever, who is Itamar Ben-Gvir, a guy who was 20 years ago condemned by the Israeli court itself as a potential terrorist and racist? This guy is now running security. So I'm not establishing, I'm not crazy, any parallel and so on. I said destroy Hamas, I never said destroy Israel. The more I say this, the more I'm accused of, I don't know how, from some deep hermeneuticians, that my true message is nonetheless that I'm pro-Hamas, you know.
Yes.
I'm not crazy, my God. I mean, we tried to organize also, apart from Benjamin, a conference in Jenin with my Jewish friends, and that big Jewish-Palestinian actor and cultural Giuliano Mercanis, conference on movies. It was the Palestinian hardliners who shot him there on the street. It was too much, this cultural collaboration and so on. What I am just saying, I hope this is not too much, is that people claim I'm relativizing what Hamas did in the south of Israel. No, contextualizing something doesn't mean to relativize it. It means to see the ground out of which a thing like this was possible to emerge. I give you another example. Maybe you read it in some of my text, recent reactions. Of course, Hitler has to be contextualized, but this doesn't redeem him in any way. It's clear that Nazi anti-Semitism could have emerged in a very specific situation after World War I, the so experienced humiliation of Germany, Versailles peace, economic crisis, and so on and so on. This in no way means Hitler was partially justified. It just means analyze the ground. It is still absolute evil, what Hitler did. And all I'm saying is that in the long term, the only way to a lasting peace in the Middle East is, and I'm quoting here Yuval Harari, my God. He said nicely that in the land which is their homeland, he admits this, Harari, he means the land which is now controlled by Israel, we should allow Palestinians to live in peace, to lead a free, dignified life. I agree with him, all these guarantees against threats and so on and so on. And it was a little bit of a bad mistake, a bad feeling for me, surprised that I was attacked from both sides. One side, people probably close to Hamas, don't you see that Hamas is really an anti-colonial movement? And then, on the other hand, Zionists that I'm relativizing it. No, again, contextualization is not a relativization. It is still absolute evil, if I may use this term. No, but absolute evil emerges at precise points of history. That's all I'm saying. My true fear here is that this war will trigger a new wave of anti-Semitism in Europe, which will then put a gentle pressure on Jews to move if Israel will win, but I'm not sure there. And I remember the reaction some 10 years or 5 ago, maybe you know better. Netanyahu invited French Jews, because there are some anti-Semitic, please come to Israel. The immediate reaction of the French right was, yeah, follow Netanyahu, just go there. No, I think with all my sympathy for Palestinians that there would have been no European enlightenment without Jews, because enlightenment means you think beyond your ethnic identity, you are open to some kind of relativization, but this time in a good sense. You know where enlightenment begins? When Descartes, good guy, I don't buy this bullshit about Descartes, male chauvinist. Do you know that Descartes triggered among rich ladies, there was no other public there, a great feminist movement? Not just Queen Christina from Scotland, many others. They said, cogito has no sex. We are finally equal with men. And this is a wonderful moment when, I don't know which one, Discourse of Method or the other book, Descartes says that first as a young kid, when he met people from other cultures, he found their habits strange. Then he asked himself, my God, but what if in their eyes our own customs are also strange and weird? That's where it all begins. And this wouldn't have taken place without Jews. So what I'm saying is, please remain here. The anti-Semitic strategy today tends to be Zionist, which means we love Jews, but if you are there, don't be here. No, Jews are the ones who kind of, you know, it's like salt, pepper, or what, who bring diversity, a dissonant voice, without which there is no progress. I mean, this is where things made me a pessimist. Maybe there is a hope that out of this carnage. There are already voices in Israel, and also I'm a great friend of Palestinians. Don't underestimate them. Did you read a small note in the newspapers? Then when Mahmoud Abbas, the chief of PLO said about a month and a half ago some very stupid thing, which was, yeah, Jews, they deserved Holocaust because they were dealing too much with finances, profiting. Well, F you, I would say. Yes, they were. Why? Because they were prohibited to own land. And so, but immediately, over 100 Palestinian intellectuals, philosophers, Palestinian, from the West Bank and Israel to United States, immediately published a letter condemning Abbas, claiming, sorry, this is not our struggle, we are not anti-Semites.